advantage? Well, I've been working primarily in two industries as a part of CSR, as a part of the social sector. One is the healthcare industry, which includes public health. Two is the education and skill development or vocational education. Now, with the advent of the new national education policy, which is a very, very proactive document, and it really talks about a lot of aspects in terms of how education will shape in the future and how teachers can play a bigger role, instead of just information providers to knowledge accumulators. I think when we talk about school or teachers, we only talk about schools. We only think about schools. When we talk about education, we think about educational institutes. When we talk about healthcare, we think about hospitals. Now, as far as hospitals are concerned, hospital is a place where we have, curative care. Now, the world or the government is talking about promotive care and preventive care, which is where, a doctor can play a more active role in terms of ensuring people don't fall sick. And we have hospital which treat sick people. So from that perspective, in terms of how can we horizontally spread the services of a doctor, for example, using gig, how we can horizontally spread the services of a teacher. Sorry, there's construction work happening just beside the building, and these are, some challenges of working at project locations. How, we can horizontally spread the services of a teacher. Teachers usually are working right now on a salary mode in a school. Is there a model through online, through digitization, through use of technology where we can have the best of teachers provide, more of, services in more than one schools? Here we are talking about the experts being used not just for one organization, but in a gig economy being used by various other organizations. Same apply for teachers, same apply for trainers in the vocational education segment, same apply for doctors. Talking about doctors, and I've been working very closely with doctors, and also one of the biggest challenges for me in implementing healthcare projects in government, in association with the government, is actually implementation of projects which is doctor based, which is doctor dependent. And here, for example, India is a country having 138 crore population. As per the World Health Organization, we need a doctor-patient ratio of 1:1,000, which means that India needs approximately 13, 14 lakh doctors. What's the number of doctors available in the country? Just about 7 to 8 lakhs. So we have a 50% shortfall of doctors. So that means there is a requirement of a horizontal spread of the doctor services beyond the geography. So as using technology, geography has become history. We have tried to use telemedicine. We've tried to use teleconsultation to bring a doctor's services at the remote level, at the grassroots level, at the bottom of the pyramid, using gig, using technology, using various models, of formalization of the agreement. There is a huge scope of penetration into, the rural market and kind of trying to offer value-added services using the gig model. And here I'm talking about penetration. Here I'm talking about value addition. Here I'm talking about quality of services that can be rendered at the grassroots level. Talking about trainers, we already have trainers in our vocational education segment. Some of them they work 2 hours a week, some of them they work 4 hours a week, some of them they work thrice a week. So we have classes. Let's say our hair and beauty kind of a trainer, she works 2 hours a day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. She's already a good gig worker, but the whole agreement is not finalized or formalized to an extent that we can use this as a model for a sustainability perspective in the future. And talking about demographic dividend as far as India is concerned, and talking about the 5 pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which talks about the economy, the infrastructure, the IT, the systems and the processes, the demography and creating demand. Let me talk about demographic dividend as far as India is concerned. How we can kind of use gig, how we can use the outsourcing model to be able to reap the benefits of demographic dividends, how we can bring more women in the workforce, how we can have more of people who are actually contributing to be able to contribute more, not just from a job perspective, but from a livelihood perspective. These are some of my thoughts, and also from the perspective of going around the world and having a look at various models. Yes, I have got the advantage of looking at various models in various countries. I worked in India, in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka, in Australia, and I was part of a gig economy myself when I was in Australia, where I was in a bank of the so-called call center operators, and as and when required, the workforce manager used to give me a call, say, hey, Atul, we need you to work those 4 hours extra on a weekend. You'll get double the pay because you're working on a weekend. And it's not bad. And the whole, someone spoke about culture. I think there's a huge cultural shift in terms of how we take the gig workers in India, and how, the gig workers, they choose gig themselves because of the flexibility. I've got a friend of mine in Australia who actually works 3-4 months. January is the time when we have the Australian Open, and he's a crowd controller there. And he works as a crowd controller full time, kind of at the Australian Open, and then earns enough money to be able to go for a world tour for the next 3-4 months time. And this is what they choose as a flexibility in terms of their own. They don't want to be, limited through a fixed job, reporting on time, having those 25 days of leave, and kind of get, kind of bound in the whole system. So here we're talking about industry. Here we're talking about specifically the healthcare industry, the healthcare workers, the pharmacists, the lab technicians, who are actually working already in a gig setup. Like Bala very rightly said, it has to be formalized, it has to be structured, it has to be put into a framework, it has to be put into a proper model, which has a legislation, and which has to kind of, look, Abhinay, which has to kind of, look, brought into the context of a framework, and a kind of, the whole thing has to be made more formalized to be able to have bigger impact and social impact also in the future.